Good evening, Americans, and welcome to the Ed Show live from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. I'm ready to go. Let's get to work.
We should get out west and an update now on what's happening out on the Bundy Ranch.
The most powerful Democrat in Congress has now officially stepped way over the line.
You know, he doesn't like Cliven Bundy.
Blasted Cliven Bundy's supporters as domestic terrorists.
Quote, domestic terrorists.
These people who hold themselves out to be patriots are not.
You know, members of the militia.
They're nothing more than domestic terrorists.
What do you have to say to the senator?
Well, I guess he's right. I don't know what else would be. We're definitely citizens riled up.
You know, members of the militia.
I repeat, what went on up there is domestic terrorism.
He thinks Cliven Bundy's breaking the law.
You know why he's a terrorist? Because that man right there is trying to kill the American spirit.
We are in a country that people should follow the law.
We don't work for you. You work for us.
Good to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Dirty Harry, tell it like it is. I'm all about it. Make my day. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, and I affectionately call him Dirty Harry because this is what it's all about, right? Going right back at him. He is calling out the law-breaking Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy. And on the flip side, here we go. They're all getting in the party now. Fox News is still defending Bundy. And they are now attacking Harry Reid. Harry Reid's the problem now. Harry Reid has every right to criticize this rogue lawbreaker. On Thursday, Harry Reid put Bundy right in his place.
These people who hold themselves out to be patriots are not. They're nothing more than domestic terrorists. And I think that we are a country that people should follow the law. And what went up in Mesquite is not very good. I repeat, what went on up there is domestic terrorism.
I think Harry Reid is exactly right in calling Bundy a domestic terrorist. Tell it like it is, Harry. Bundy has stolen $1 million from the American people. He's used a lawless militia to take on the federal government and get his cattle back. This is beyond late fees, folks. This is flat out theft is what it is. Senator Reid went on to highlight the severity of the situation.
It's an issue that we cannot let go and just walk away from it. Keep in mind what happened up there. There were hundreds of people from around the country that came there. They had sniper rifles on the freeway. They had assault weapons. They had automatic weapons. And as one of the former sheriffs in Arizona said, and we had children and women lined up because if anybody got hurt, we wanted to make sure they got hurt first because we wanted the federal government hurting women and children.
Now, right after Harry Reid made those comments, Fox News rushed to defend Bundy and criticize the senator from Nevada. Fox News guest and filmmaker Dennis Lynch, he was present at Saturday's standoff. Lynch, dramatically, from the heart, from the gut, told Megyn Kelly Reid was lying about women and children being put in harm's way. He made it very clear that he was on the front lines.
I was at the front of the front line. I heard nobody say that we were going to put women and children first. Nobody said that.
Everybody got that? Very clear. Well, Dennis Lynch should really watch Fox News.
We were actually strategizing to put all the women up at the front. If they're going to start shooting, it's going to be women that are going to be televised all across the world getting shot by these rogue federal officers.
So who do you want to believe? We have a discrepancy here on Fox Network. Wow. Seems to me like they got a horrible journalist on the payroll. Fox News coverage of this situation is a total joke, and it is agenda-driven. They are promoting a lawmaker and defending armed insurrection against the government. And now we know, again, that they are reporting lies. All you have to do is play the tape on their own network. Cliven Bundy has now appeared on Sean Hannity's show 6 times. His airtime on Fox has now topped 46 minutes. And last night, Cliven Bundy responded to Senator Reid's comment.
When you hear Senator Harry Reid call you a domestic terrorist, what do you have to say to the senator?
Well, I guess he's right. I don't know what else would be. We're definitely citizens riled up. I don't know whether you could call us terrorists. There's most loving people here I ever met in my life, and we're meeting here together, and they're definitely upset about this government that pulls their gun on us.
Well, I'm glad Cliven Bundy agrees with Senator Harry Reid that he is a terrorist. Luckily for Bundy, Fox News is very talented at trash-talking Harry Reid.
The most powerful Democrat in Congress has now officially stepped way over the line when it comes to his rhetoric about rancher Cliven Bundy.
That looked like Afghanistan. And if there was anything that was domestic terrorism, it was perpetuated by the government, not by the people.
As his son is saying we should sort of de-escalate things, Harry Reid seems to be upping the rhetoric.
Democrats will sit there and say crazy Tea Partiers, crazy militia, crazy Americans, domestic terrorists. Listen, you know how passionate I am about terrorism. I witnessed 9/11.
People are suggesting that Harry Reid had some stake in this whole matter and that he was against the rancher Cliven Bundy for political purposes. He wanted the land for development or other people who pad his political pockets, none of which has been substantiated.
It is disrespectful to Americans for that man to call these people terrorists. He is the terrorist, and as far as I'm concerned, in this situation.
Mr. Reid is the one who's calling more attention to this. It was over. People were moving on. He is the one who keeps stoking this fire.
No, Megan, wrong again. Fox News keeps stoking this fire. This is Fox News anchors putting their backwards anti-government ideology right into the story. Fox News has ripped every single scab off of doubt that this is what it's all about. They hate the federal government. Now they're trying to make Harry Reid the target. He's the bad guy for telling the truth. Consume this, my friends. This is a picture of a sniper. We showed this earlier this week, but this is what Harry's talking about. This is a sniper on Saturday aiming his rifle at federal agents. Are you curious what motivated this guy to assume a combat position, a trained combat position? Is this guy paranoid? Who's he got in the crosshairs? What's he thinking? I want Fox News anchors to defend this guy right there. Tell me this is standard operating procedure when you are at opposition with a representative government. What do you think average Americans think of this picture? Let's get the common sense meter out for just a moment. This guy is in a position to do a terrorist act. He has no authority. He is in a position to take someone's life. That right there is the picture of a domestic terrorist. This situation on Saturday was emboldened by Fox News coverage of this story. Sean Hannity has even admitted he played a role in this standoff.
In my mind, there's no doubt the fact that so many people showed up to support you, and I would even argue a little bit that the media coverage that myself and some other people have given to this case played a part in this, because none of it made sense.
Yeah, you did, Sean. You played a part in it. Earlier this week, we proved Cliven Bundy is an absolute freeloader. The dictionary defines freeloader as a person who is supported by another without making an adequate return. Now I want to pull up the definition of terrorism. The dictionary defines terrorism as this, as the use of violence and intimidation in the pursuit of political aims. Let's go back to the picture, if we can, to the guy. Let's go back to the picture of the guy behind the wall on the highway. Do you think that he might be intimidating anybody? Do you think that you would feel comfortable if you knew that you were doing your job as a federal agent and there's some guy behind a wall that's got you in the crosshairs? Would you feel somewhat intimidated? You think that federal agents aren't human beings? They're doing their job because the guy down there owes $1 million. That is exactly who Fox News is defending. That is exactly what Cliven Bundy is doing, intimidating people. He is without a doubt a terrorist. Harry Reid is showing leadership when he's telling the truth, and he's got the guts to do it. He's showing Americans that you can't be intimidated by these extreme right-wing anti-government lawbreakers. And make no mistake, The people with the guns out there in the desert, they are voting Republican. The Republican Party has been on a mission since 1981 to be anti-government. Oh, it all started with Uncle Ronnie Reagan.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Oh, yeah, that's where it all started. That planted the seed that the federal government doesn't do anything right, and anybody who represents the federal government is an easy target. Harry Reid is calling out a party that will not separate themselves from these kind of nut jobs with guns who show up from around the country that aren't rancherly, neighborly folks. Oh, it's the next farm over. Oh, it's the next ranch over. Oh, no, it's not. These are extremists who gathered from all around the country because they thought there was going to be a showdown, an OK corral with the federal government. Harry Reid, he's exactly doing it the right way. Fox News should be ashamed of themselves for promoting and defending a lawbreaker. Now, I'm going to expect to see Eric Bolling put a picture of that sniper up on the air and defend that guy for doing that. Defend that man in that combat position. What's the difference between that guy right there and somebody who drives up in front of your house with a bomb in the back seat and somebody calls you and say, hey, you know that guy out front? No, he's got a bomb in the back of his car. Would you think that you're being targeted? Would you think that that is an act of terrorism? You damn right you would. That's why Harry Reid is calling these people domestic terrorists. We need to call it what they are. We need to call it the way we see it. These are the facts. Now, $1 million. You know, if Fox is so determined to defend this Bundy guy, why don't they act like him? Megyn Kelly and Sean Hannity, what are you paying taxes for? It's the federal government. Why don't you imitate this guy? I think Fox News wants a shootout. I think Fox News wants a shootout at the OK Corral. I don't think they can get enough of this stuff. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question. Do you agree with Harry Reid for calling Cliven Bundy a domestic terrorist? Text A for yes, text B for no to 67622. You can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. For more, I want to bring in MSNBC contributor and former Montana Governor Brian Schweitzer. Governor, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be back.
Your thoughts on this situation, the way it's being covered, the way this lawbreaker is being portrayed, your reaction to Harry Reid calling Bundy a domestic terrorist.
Harry Reid grew up in Searchlight, Nevada. Harry Reid knows Western range law and he knows Nevada law. You notice there's no cattlemen that are standing beside Bundy. The Nevada Cattlemen's Association, the stock grower associations from across the West are not with this guy. They know that the Taylor Grazing Act was passed in 1934 so that there would be an organized way of grazing cattle on federal land. They understand that we were overgrazing the resource and we needed to have some organization, and they support what the BLM does. This guy Bundy is, I mentioned before, I think he's a grifter. This guy has brands on his cattle, and the federal government's going to collect this money. They have a court order, and when you own cattle in the West, you brand them with a hot iron brand, and that brand will stay on that animal for the rest of its life. There's only 2 livestock barns in Nevada. He's either going to have to ship them up to Fallon to sell them, or he's going to have to take them into Utah, and he needs a brand inspection either way. When a brand inspector looks at that animal, they're going to see that there's a lien on it. And when he sells those cattle, the check is going to be sent to the federal government because the court has already ordered this guy to pay this bill. And so that brand that belongs to Cliven Bundy is on those cattle, and the federal government's going to be paid. That is what happens with a law-abiding citizen. Now, apparently, Bundy has organized a group of ne'er-do-wells from all across this country. These are not cattlemen. They're not people of the land. They are just people that want to stir up trouble, and apparently Fox News wants to be part of that group.
Governor, is there anything that state officials can do to diffuse this situation on a state level, or is this guy just simply unreachable?
Well, there is, and it's on a state level. The state brand inspectors, when he ships those cattle to market. And you don't raise cattle just to keep them. At some point, you got to sell them. So it'll be the brand inspectors for the state of Nevada that will have a lien in their pocket from the federal government. And when he tries to ship those cattle to market, they will take up those papers and send that check to the federal government. That's just the way the laws work in Nevada. And you can't have a civilized society unless you can do such a thing.
So there's nothing the governor should do. There's nothing the ag commissioner should do, or anybody in any government position. Just let this thing go and nail him in his pocketbook, and that's going to be the end of it. Is that your solution on this?
Well,
that's the way you think it should be handled?
No, that is the financial solution to this. The guy is still a lawbreaker, and he's thumbed his nose at law enforcement. He was trying to belittle the sheriff the other day in front of a group of people, saying, "Why aren't you pointing your guns at those federal officials? Why are you here and not doing something about putting them in jail?" Well, the sheriff is a law-abiding citizen, and he is law enforcement. Of course, he understands there's a court order that has already been issued against Bundy, and he's going to support that.
I'm stunned at Fox News and what they're doing. I'm just absolutely stunned. Governor Brian Schweitzer, great to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time on this. Let me bring in liberal commentator and broadcaster John Fugelsang. John, your take on this entire situation and the way the network, Fox News, is promoting this and covering it and giving cover and support to Bundy. Your thoughts?
I haven't seen Sean Hannity this excited to send other people out to get shot since the Iraq War, so I'm very happy to talk about this. We should thank Sean Hannity and Rancher Bundy for teaching us that patriot now means guy with guns who wants free stuff. I'm a bit shocked that Harry Reid would use the language of terrorist when really anarchist moocher or welfare cowboy is speaking the GOP's own language. And believe me, if he called him an anarchist moocher or welfare cowboy, Fox wouldn't be replaying it. You got to use these people's own logic against them. And you know this, Ed. If you're going to use something that's not yours, you should pay for it. And you'd think a state with legalized prostitution might understand that.
Now, do you think Bundy is a domestic terrorist? And did Harry Reid go too far in telling it like it is? I mean, his description was very clear. He talked about how the groups got together, what they are carrying, how they use the women and children as props. Your thoughts?
Well, again, I hate to disagree with you, Ed, but I think Harry Reid may have misstepped in that use of language. As you saw, Fox News had a field day with the senator for using the word terrorist. This guy is a moocher. This guy is a grifter, and I think the governor was right in saying so. I do think that there's other ways that Harry Reid could have gotten this point across that wouldn't have inspired the base. This is all about 2014's midterm elections, and Sean Hannity is terrified that more of his interns are sending resumes to Megyn Kelly's show. He's going to try and make his bones on this as much as he can. And you're right about one thing, Ed. These guys really do want bloodshed. I think what Harry Reid did just inflamed the tensions and is going to inspire even more of these yahoos to go out there and vote. This is all selfishness. I would say it was terrorism if Rancher Bundy had political aims, but it wasn't. He was just trying to screw over you and me and the taxpayers to make a buck. And this is the history, the ugly history of American selfishness. We have gone from manifest destiny to American exceptionalism to whatever, I do what I want.
All right. John Fugelsang, good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time on the Ed Show. Thanks so much. Remember to answer tonight's question right there at the bottom of the screen. Share your thoughts with us on Twitter at Ed Show. Like us on Facebook. We appreciate that. We always want to know what you think. Come